cuts that are happening are to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse.
Today on the Morning Edition, a protest outside the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium as HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy discusses $500 million in cuts to vaccine development inside. Details on his visit to Alaska. Plus, a proposed fuel excise tax in the Matsu is gassing up some residents. They're upset over an increase in prices, why the borough says it's necessary. And continuing our back-to-school coverage this morning, we're talking how to get into a routine to set your family up for success from day one as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on a Wednesday, halfway into the week, almost school time, kiddos. So, yeah, now's the time, I'd say a week out, start kind of getting into that routine, going to bed.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it was right around the 1 to 3 week period where my mom was like, you're in bed by 10 p.m.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, you know, you got to get into that routine. So when school starts, you're well adjusted and ready for that new season or new school season.
Yeah, and gosh, I mean, starting off August, beautiful.
Yeah, we're still holding on to some sunshine, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies across the vast majority of South Central this morning. We are seeing some localized areas of some fog to start off the day. And of course, if you live out towards the Kenai, we're already holding on to some of those mostly cloudy to overcast skies, particularly out towards southern parts of the Kenai. Now, 49 degrees is where we're sitting at this morning. We are going to see temperatures make a run back into the 70s throughout a good portion of South Central. You can see there's that cloud coverage out towards the Kenai, parts of Prince William Sound, holding on to some of those cloudier conditions. But more sunshine as you head to the north. 43 in Talkeetna, 48 degrees in Golconda. Warm spot coming in at Homer at 55 degrees this morning. Now, one thing we are watching is those clouds steadily increasing, more so into the afternoon and evening hours as that cloud coverage continues to build in from the south. We've also got a red flag warning as you head out towards the Copper River Basin. This is from this afternoon into the evening. Temperatures anywhere from 75 to 80 degrees, low relative humidity, and some southerly gusts up to 30 miles per hour. So while we are in August, fire season is still with us, although we are seeing that activity this year right around 1 million acres. And then out towards parts of the eastern Alaska range, we could see some winds up to 50 miles per hour as those begin to increase. As far as the rain this morning, it is out towards Kodiak, some isolated activity out towards areas of Kachemak Bay. We are going to see that rain steadily increasing into the evening hours overnight into our Thursday. So cloud coverage today for Anchorage and much of South Central, mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. We will see those temperatures warming near 70. And then, of course, that rain builds in through the overnight hours on into our Thursday. We'll see the heaviest activity out towards coastal areas where we could stick around with rain for most of the day Thursday, while inland areas, we're not going to see that rain all day long. We'll likely see ample dry time. I'll have more on that as well as that 7-day forecast coming up.
In our top story, the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services is in Alaska. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. held a press conference moments after announcing $500 million in canceled vaccine development funding. Will Courtney was at that conference and asked the secretary, if not those vaccines, then what's the alternative?
Gathered at the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium, Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sat between Senators Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan. Tuesday's topic, the impact of the Big Beautiful Bill, which barely passed Congress weeks ago. Opposers to the bill, including several gathered outside, said cuts to Medicaid included in that piece of legislation could spell disaster for Alaska. The secretary, though, said impact wouldn't be felt.
You've been inundated up here by advertisements saying that there's cuts to Medicaid, Medicare. That is not true. The cuts that are happening are to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse.
While the Big Beautiful Bill was the focus, Kennedy fielded questions on a variety of subjects, including his recent announcement that $500 million of vaccine funding would be canceled. We were the first to ask if mRNA vaccines aren't sufficient, what's the alternative?
For right now, we're developing a universal vaccine at NIH, which is a vaccine that addresses the entire phylum of viruses. And so it's a vaccine that mimics natural immunity. And it is effective against any kind of mutation, so it doesn't drive the virus to mutate.
Outside the building, protesters gathered, including John Haas, who held a sign saying, "Don't cut the head off Native health care."
Are you concerned that Secretary Kennedy is putting native health care on the chopping block?
Yes.
And how come?
He's cutting Medicare.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he come for this next?
Yeah.
Kennedy is set to stay in the state for the next week and will visit Kenai tomorrow. And you can read more about the federal government halting those 22 future mRNA vaccine projects, with the focus shifted to a full virus vaccine. That is all on alaskasnewssource.com and on our news app. Anchorage police are now calling the death of a child in a Campbell Park apartment earlier this week a homicide. APD says a young girl was pronounced dead inside an apartment on the 4500 block of Folker Street Monday. Police contacted several witnesses, but no arrests have been made yet. The medical examiner will determine the cause of the girl's death.
We just need to, obviously make sure that dog doesn't injure anyone else in the community.
The dog suspected to be responsible for mauling a boy at a Wasilla playground has been found and impounded. That is according to Matsu Animal Control. The boy's family says the 7-year-old almost lost his ear in the attack. Animal Control made contact with one of the dog's owners, but still have not found the person that was seen speeding off in this video. The boy's father says he's relieved the dog was found and is no longer a threat. New this morning, Ship Creek is a pretty popular place to drop a line, but it can also get dangerous pretty quick if you're not wearing the right gear. The Anchorage Fire Department rescued 2 anglers yesterday, saying a man and a young family member, they got caught up in the rising tide right around 4:45 p.m. They were wearing waders, but no life jackets. Firefighters responded and quickly sprung into action. Both were okay after getting checked out on the scene. And several trails at Anchorage and Eagle River, they are closed due to high bear activity. Anchorage Parks, BLM, and Fish and Game, they shut down Rover's Run Viewpoint and Salmon Run trails after close bear encounters and a surge in spawning salmon. Alaska State Parks also closed the Albert Loop Trail that's near Eagle River on Tuesday. It closes each summer for bear safety and will reopen this fall. Protesters at Tuesday night's Matsu Assembly meeting say they're upset over a tax that could increase gas prices in the valley. Joe Allgood was at the meeting and explains what it all means.
Gas prices in the Matsu Valley might be going up in the near future as the Matsu Assembly discusses a gas tax that they hope will lower the debt burden on the borough. But obviously, not everyone is a fan.
We don't need that in the valley. We get taxed enough.
A fuel excise tax of 7 cents per gallon was proposed by the Assembly back in June. On Tuesday, members of the public went on record.
If you're failing to be good stewards of your current tax money you receive, why are you trying to gaslight the public saying you need more money when you are clearly wasting what you have?
To cover property taxes, do away with them entirely. I say if we're going to get in that spirit, I'm with you. Let's do it. But it's going to cost you about $6 a gallon tax.
Those who support it say a tax would decrease the amount of bonds the borough needs to take out, lowering debt and allowing more funds to be directed towards road improvements.
A fuel tax would allow you to capture some of those outside dollars and help take some of the pressure off of property tax.
Which a few support.
A dedicated tax that goes for transit and road repair. It's time that we need to do that.
But most of the folks that we talk to,
I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Don't.
Gas is already expensive, diesel's expensive. You got people in the valley commuting to Anchorage for work because it's cheaper to live out here, and you're just raising prices to live out here, kind of making it kind of crappy.
The Assembly added an amendment to hold an advisory vote for Matsu voters this November. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
The summer driving season still has 1 month to go, and nationwide so far, so good for drivers that are filling up their tanks. This past week, the national average for a gallon of regular dropped 2 cents to $3.14. Of course, things are a bit higher here in Alaska, where regular averages $3.77. And as you head into the interior, prices are even higher at just above $3.80. Fairbanks North Star Borough Mayor Grier Hopkins delivered his annual State of the Borough address. He spoke to the Greater Fairbanks Chamber of Commerce. The mayor highlighted park improvements, repurposing closed schools, and incentives to boost development. He also promised progress on cleaning up junkyards that violate borough code and impact neighborhoods.
Partnering with the city to find derelict properties here that we can make their process smoother and more cost effective is another thing we can do. And just being aggressive in there so that the community knows it's not okay to have junkyards around our community, and we do take steps to model that behavior.
Hopkins said he also supports efforts to turn Pearl Creek Elementary, which is now closed, into a charter school. Coming up, the unique temperament of the interior is tested in a new garden in Fairbanks that used to house reindeer. How it's helping students learn about harvesting and helping feed neighbors in need next.
We'll hold on to one more day of sunshine before rain makes a return to South Central through the overnight hours into our Thursday. I'll have more on that. First, sunrise, 546 in Anchorage, 501 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
It's not a bird or a plane, it's a high-altitude balloon. So did you see this white circle in the sky Tuesday? A lot of us did. The balloon was spotted much of the day just kind of floating around Anchorage at about 60,000 feet. The balloon was launched from J-Bear with Aerostar. It's an aerospace and defense company. This is part of an exercise going on all month. It's called Arctic Edge, a North American Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. Northern Command-led Homeland Defense exercise. And they tell us that the exercise is designed to improve readiness, demonstrate capabilities, and also enhance an allied force coordination in the Arctic. Nonetheless, though, Aaron, a lot of us kind of had eyes to the sky just wondering, like, what was that?
Yeah, nice to know that we finally found out that information, but 60,000 feet and able to see it that well makes you wonder just how big it was. We are waking up this morning to some of that sunshine across South Central outside of coastal regions. Rain already beginning to build into parts of Kodiak Island. The Aleutians, areas of southwest Alaska. This is where we're holding on to those mostly cloudy to overcast skies. We've still got some ongoing rain through the Brooks Range and, of course, some light activity as you head through parts of the interior. That will taper off this morning with a return to some sunshine in the forecast. Now, what we're watching is this area of low pressure that's really impacting locations of the eastern interior. Winds have been gusting up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour through the night. As that system slowly builds northward into South Central, we will see some winds increasing overnight into tomorrow. We've already got a wind advisory out towards the eastern Alaska range with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. And then, of course, later this afternoon, areas of the Copper River Basin, when that red flag warning goes into effect, could see winds up to 30 miles per hour. So there's that low that we're going to be watching that's going to bring our rain showers through the overnight hours into our Thursday. That ridge of high pressure that's in the Gulf of Alaska will begin to shift to the east. So sunnier and warmer conditions to be expected out towards southeast as that ridge continues to shift to the east as this low builds back in across a good portion of the state. So we're going to see some of the heaviest rainfall today through areas of the eastern Aleutian out toward eastern Aleutians out towards the Alaska Peninsula. Southwest Alaska also tapping into that rainfall. And then eventually overnight into tomorrow, we'll see that rain spread from south to north through the rest of South Central, where we are expected to see mostly all-day rain for coastal areas, while inland locations we'll see some scattered to periodic activity. So you can see that rain building in through the overnight hours into our Thursday. Notice through the afternoon into our Thursday and Friday, we will see some dry breaks, but coastal areas will continue to favor widespread activity sticking around for both days. Out towards Kodiak Island, we could also see periodic to heavy rainfall to be expected. So a wetter weather pattern is emerging, which is going to be some good news with our abnormally dry conditions we've got across South Central. You can see from Anchorage down through parts of the Kenai and a large portion of the Susitna Valley seeing those abnormally dry conditions. And again, this is just a precursor to a drought, meaning that we have some lingering water deficits. So any rain certainly will help remove those abnormally dry conditions. And to the north, we also have locations through the interior out towards the slope seeing some of that abnormally dry weather as well. Clouds build in with some evening rain. You can see those winds increasing later today up to about 35 miles per hour through Prince William Sound. We'll also see the potential for some breezy conditions, more so into the Copper River Basin, though. You can see Golcana winds up to 25 miles per hour. Areas within that red flag warning could see isolated gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. And then, of course, into the valley, Palmer, you'll see those winds increasing tonight into tomorrow with winds up to 30. Those temperatures, though, still warm. Low to mid 70s to be expected today through the valley, while here in Anchorage, we'll hit 70. You can see that chance for some showers arrive into the evening hours. I should correct that because that is not snow that you're seeing there. Just ignore that. 69 degrees for Girdwood, and of course that 7-day forecast showing cooler conditions arriving into our Thursday. Will likely stay in the upper 50s and lower 60s with rain to end the week.
For this week's Arctic Gardens, we return to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where a garden once a reindeer pen. It serves to teach students and community members about growing in the interior. Alex Bengal has this week's story.
The Reindeer Learning Gardens on UAF campus started during the COVID-19 pandemic, when students wanted to learn how to grow food for themselves.
They asked the botanical gardens here if they could collaborate and have a learning garden where they could come in, learn skills on how to grow food, and be able to take some fresh food home with them.
Now, vegetables, herbs, pollinators, and much more populate the space.
We meet twice a week throughout the summer, and you can just jump in and take some veggies home and learn how to grow them in our climate.
Hands-on work by 10 to 15 students discovering how to manage the unique temperament of the far north.
Soil health is very key. If your soil's happy, if you have a harmonious microbiome, your plants will benefit from that.
Planting, watering, and harvesting from April until even past the start of fall classes. Produce going to local nonprofits like the Food Bank and Breadline, and a donation-based food stand at the weekly Music in the Garden event at the nearby Botanical Garden.
All the money just goes back into our program.
The garden also hosts a monthly workshop for the community for a $40 fee, with hopes for a potential accredited university course in the future. Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
For more tips for gardening in Alaska, you can visit our website and just click on Arctic Gardens to view all of our past stories. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically, and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.